Hi everyone, it's Melissa with Jacksonville Business Connections doing another one of our live business interviews. We are excited to continue doing all these interviews and getting businesses from North Florida out to the community and what everybody does. And today I have with me Courtney, and she is the queen of disputing credit. So, Courtney, tell us a little bit more about your business and how you got started and the idea behind it.
Yes, thank you again. Thank you so much, Melissa, for having me today. So thank you so much again, everyone, for tuning in as well. So with my company, DisputeQueen Credit Improvement, we are here locally in Jacksonville, Florida. We do service all 50 states, but our thing is to first and foremost get education and information out to the community. So I've been with my company. I established it. I've been doing credit financial field for years. So I really got into it when I was helping my family and friends around 2016, 17. So my biggest thing was, how do we see other people are able to get approved for things. They are able to get low down payments like that. So I was like, what is it that we need to do as our families become homeowners? So that's when I got into, okay, credit is a common denominator that we, and in a lot of communities that we do not know about. It's something that's not taught in schools. It's nothing that's taught in high school or even college. So we know a little bit about finances, but credit, which is very important when you turn 18, it was something that was not taught. So I honestly learned how to do it on my own. I started a group chat with my family. I'm like, you guys, I know we don't talk about finances or anything like that. I know a lot of us have good jobs, great jobs, but where are we at as far as home ownership, as far as having great interest rates and things? So started of my 10 family members, I started a group chat and I was like, okay, who's gonna let me do it first? It was silence. No one started. So then one of my family members, she was like, okay, I'll let you do it. I'll let you see what you can do on my credit. So I started improving my family and friends' credits. Word of mouth got out. And so I was like, okay, how can I make this a legitimate business? Like, I want to be legal. I want to be able to make sure it's established where I can help others. Because if I'm going to start a business, I want it to be somewhere that they can trust and things like that. So in 2017, that's when I registered my business with the state of Florida. And that's when I became DisputeQueen LLC. So people just, all of my family and friends, they were like, oh, you dispute. So like, they're like, how do you get these accounts off? And my main thing was, I'm disputing negative, inaccurate information on your credit report. It's nothing, no magic to it. It's honestly disputing the things that are wrong on your credit, in which 97% of Americans, we have something wrong on our credit reports. We just don't know how to remove it, the things to say. That's where I came with my company name of DisputeQueen. I'm like, okay, I wanted something girly, something like, hey, what does your name mean? And so I just wanted to be a brand all in itself when it comes to, hey, Courtney Henderson, DisputeQueen. So 2017 and just being going from there. So yeah, so excited.
No, that's awesome. And I do love the name. It's definitely catchy. And I always love hearing the backstories, how, businesses get started and the idea behind them. And I think that's great. So you just been doing this and helping people with the credit. And so what if someone doesn't even know that they might have something on their credit report?
So the first thing I tell people with my company, the first thing I say first and foremost is schedule a consultation. A consultation, I know a lot of people, I'm on social media and things like that, and they want to come in my inbox, hey, here's a screenshot of my credit score. But I tell people it's 5 main components to your credit score. It's going to be the 5 main components is your payment history. How good are you about paying your payments? How good are you, the next thing is, how good are you about paying back your debt, your utilization of your credit cards? That's the next component. And then how much history of credit do you have? Have you never had credit history before? Or do you have a short or do you have long? Like, that's all the factors you want to know. Like, how many times are people pulling your credit? I've seen somebody who had 3 inquiries on their credit, meaning that the dealership pulled it 3 times and they were approved. I had somebody who had it 110 times. That's the most I personally seen when I worked on credit. And it just came to the point where once you have your consultation, I'm looking at all of that for you to see, looking at all three scores. Me personally, I'm not caring about the actual number itself. There's over 300 scoring models of your credit. I'm looking at the actual items of your credit report, not the number, your actual credit report. So do you have negative accounts? Do you have positive accounts? How can we make your profile strong? So my overall goal for my company, I partner with some of the most phenomenal realtors and loan officers here in the Jacksonville area and different areas as well, but my focus mainly is Jacksonville. And we have some phenomenal people where if your goal is home ownership, start with your credit. Like if you just think about it, like I want to buy a house, start repairing your credit, start improving your credit now. Because once you go to get your house or your car, whatever, that's a big purchase, one of the biggest purchases that we have. And I want people to understand that you want to get the best interest rate, the least amount of money down, so you can save along the way. It's a very good purchase, and you want it to be fun, not something where it's like you're denied because of this, come back in 6 months. Fix your credit in 6 or 7 months, then go to the loan officer, get pre-approved, and then go to your realtor who's going to find your dream home. That's the simplest way, the 3 steps. Repair your credit, get to the point where you can get pre-approved to go to the mortgage loan officer, and then go to your realtor. That's the easiest way. I tell people 1, 2, 3 along the way. So I just tell people that just focus on those things. So during the consultation, I'm looking at those negative accounts that are on there that's hindering you. So it can be the collections, the charge-offs, the late payments, things like that are on your credit that you probably haven't looked in your credit for years. You've never looked at it, or you haven't looked at it recently. But I want to see on there what are the items that we need to improve. And then I tell you along the way, while you're removing stuff, you need to also be adding that positive credit history. So if you've never had a credit card, get a secured credit card. So that comes with, if you've never had a credit card, you're missing out on 165 points. Like, I'm not a big math person, but when it comes to those 5 components of your score, I want you to just break it down the simplest form. So if you've never had a credit card, you're not going to go from that 400 or 500 to that 650 or 700 because you've never had a credit card. So don't just say, oh, let me get a $10,000 credit card if you've never had one. So I tell my clients, start off with the $200 secured card if you have to, or the $500 card. Learn how a credit card works, how your statement closing date works, how to read your credit card statement. And then when the lender or whoever you're going to, the banks or whoever, the loan officers, once they see that, hey, after 6 months, you've been paying on time, Courtney, you've been paying on time, Melissa, for these past 6 months, let's increase your credit limit without doing another pull. So you're going from that. I just had a client yesterday screenshot me like, hey, my credit limit increased. They had a $200 Navy Federal card, and that went to unsecured after 6 months. That 7th month, they gave them a $2,000 credit limit because for that past 6 months, you're building that relationship with your creditors to see that, hey, I'm responsible. I understand the process. I'm not going to overspend. And that's where it comes with credit repair, is credit education. So once you improve your credit, you want to educate yourself, your family, and friends along the way. So that's my biggest thing I want people to understand about your credit. Don't be afraid of it.
And where do you suggest people go and check their credit?
So it's so many different places that you can go to. I know the major one that people go to is Credit Karma. Credit Karma, you can I still use Credit Karma. I don't use it as far as the credit repair process, but it's something that you can use on a daily basis to understand a little bit of your credit. It's going to give you like a little bit of alerts. But with Credit Karma, it's only going to show you 2 of the 3 credit reports, which are TransUnion and Equifax. It's not going to show you Experian. So that's why I want people to be understanding of that. If you're repaying your credit, don't look at Credit Karma, but you can go to annualcreditreport.com. Right now they have it because of COVID-19. They're giving, once you sign up, instead of paying, they're giving you every week for free up until a certain time frame. I think for the next few months, they're allowing you to review your credit every week. So that's something that's very good because usually you can only see it once a year with them. So that's something that people should take advantage of credit free annual credit report.com. They're giving you that, as well as with my company. I use Identity IQ, which is with my company. I'm giving you a discount code where you're able to see all 3 credit reports. So that's what I want people to be able to see. But there's so many different ways you can go to Experian, Equifax. Everyone has their own scoring model. You just want to make sure that when you're in that home buying process, they're looking at the correct credit report that the lenders are going to be looking at. But anywhere you go to, don't focus on the number. I tell people that focus on the actual items, and your score is going to increase from there once you focus on the actual items on your credit report. So.
Okay. Yeah, that makes complete sense. What do you see? What's usually the highest risk or issues that you are seeing?
The highest thing I see is like the part of the payment history. So that's where it comes in with the collection accounts, the late payments, and things like that, medical bills, bankruptcies, all of those particular things that are hurting you the most. Those are all going to be in that same payment history category, but one hurts a little bit more than the other. So it's still late or negative. So I just tell people before it even goes to the point, okay, you have a late payment for a credit card. Before it goes to that point of being a charge off or a collections, get with your lender, get with them and ask them, the creditor, hey, what do I need to do to make this account up to date before it goes into the collection or charge off status? And before it goes to even the late payment, make sure you're paying. I tell people, you have a $500 balance on your credit card. If you can't pay the full amount with the credit card, they're asking pay the $25 or $50 minimum a month. So it's not hitting a late payment status, because that's what they're looking at. Part of your credit card agreement, are you going to pay this minimum that is required of you? Of course, you're going to get interest if it's not paid in full each month. Don't focus on that if you can't pay full, but pay the minimum so it doesn't hit that late payment, because a late payment can make your score go down. You were just at that 700, now it can go down 60 to 80 points to even 100 sometimes, because they're looking at that first 24 months is very crucial with late payment. So that's something, if you're in the process of improving your credit score, even before enrolling in my program, I say my number one thing, are you currently behind on your bills or late payments? Because we can remove all the negative items, but if you're going to keep getting a late payment after a late payment, that's fresh late payments on your credit, and it's going to make your score just keep decreasing. So just stay on top of those accounts. I know with COVID-19 going on, I just tell people, make a list of all of your accounts that you have with your creditors and things like that, with your utility. What do you have to pay right now? If you can pay the minimum, pay it. If you have to call them, I know some people are unemployed right now. If you cannot pay it right now, get with the lenders, see what they have. A lot of them have programs going on right now where they can code it, where they can waive it for a month for you, where, okay, you don't have to pay the minimum this month. We're going to code it as a natural disaster. Like, it's going on across the country. So it's nothing that is on you, it's just happening. So that's for a lot of us in Florida. I get a call when I used to work at a financial institution. If the hurricane just happened or something, we know a lot of people in Florida are going to be calling in saying, hey, we know the story, but we want to hear them say what's going on with you. But we code it as natural disaster. You could not control that. We'll waive that late fee for you, or we'll let you skip a payment for that month and notate it so it's not hitting your credit. But be proactive and get with the lenders before it gets to that point. So.
No, that makes complete sense. And what's the thoughts on people who have multiple credit cards with multiple debt in terms of the word just left my brain, but like consolidating versus just paying the minimum on each card?
So it all depends on everyone's financial situation. I say if you can, before honestly consolidating, see if you can with each lender. I'm personally against debt consolidation. Are you speaking of like debt consolidation or?
Yes.
Me personally, I'm against debt consolidation if we're speaking of the same thing. So with debt consolidation, that means that you're going to another company, they're balling up all of your debt that you have. Let's say you have those 5 credit cards, they're taking all 5 credit cards, and then they want you to, and you can honestly do more research if you want to know it, but they're telling you to stop paying on these particular accounts and then let it go into your $200 payment that you were going to give Bank of America, you now give it to that company, and then they're going to put it in like an escrow account or like an account to the side, and then they're going to make payments arrangements for you with the creditors. But 9 times out of 10, you're already to the point. If you have to do debt consolidation, you're already to the point of late payments and charge-offs and things like that. So you're using that money for them to put it to the side, but your account's still going to be in the negative. So I say, I'm really against debt consolidation. I say get with the lenders. So another thing is, let's say you have one credit card. You have two credit cards. One has a $10,000 limit. Let's keep it small. So one has a $500 limit. One has a $1,000 limit. The one with 500 is maxed out, but you have that second credit card to the other side that you haven't been using at all. It has that full $1,000, but that $500 card interest rate is so much that you feel like you can't pay it right now. With credit card companies, it's something called balance transfers, where with the balance transfer, you can get a low interest rate for a certain amount of time. So you can get, let's say, a 0% for 12 months. You take that $500 balance and put it on the second credit card that you're not using. Make sure that second credit card is offering that for you. If it is eligible, I say do a balance transfer that way. Stop using the card. If you're going to do a balance transfer, you have to be serious. Don't use that card in the meantime, because your goal is to pay down the debt. So take that $500 where the credit interest rate is 18%, bring it over to credit card B that has a 0% interest rate for 12 months. Start tapping that debt down. And that's another way I tell people, that's a way that you can do it to keep both cards active and open. But when you're doing debt consolidation, you will have to close out those credit cards in the end, because you're basically saying, I cannot pay these accounts anymore. I need this person to do it, and now they're going to close the accounts, and I'm against it. So
No, all this is really great information, and I hope a lot of people get benefit from hearing all this. What in terms of like your own business, what have you done? What like outlets have you used to like market yourself, and really what have you seen? What outlet have you seen like bring you that business and increased your visibility?
So my thing was, I can say as a business owner, for the first 2 years, I just felt like, okay, I'm going to stay on social media. I'm going to be on Facebook and Instagram all the time. So I was seeing that at first because I was still working my 9 to 5 when I was doing it. So I was like, that's my only outlet in order to get my business out there. And then when I started saying, okay, let me start looking in the community, my business mentor, she was like, you have to get out in the community. You have to be known if you're going to be known in your city. And that's my overall goal. So I said, okay, who is going to be my target audience? What do I find interest in when I am repairing someone's credit? Who is my ideal client? First-time home buyers. When I saw my client closing their home, going from a 442 until a year later, they were able to close in their home without any stress or anything like that. It was just, hey, I want to choose it. I don't want to rush it. And when they closed, I was like, this is my target audience. This is what I love. I find joy. So that's when I came into networking here in Jacksonville. I'm big on things like using your Facebook page, using your directory, as well as like Eventbrite, all of those outlets. I said, where can I go in the community? So I started working with businesses and things like that. And that's when I started meeting the loan officers that I work with, the mortgage brokers, and the realtors and things like that. So getting out in the community and things like that. And my biggest thing was speaking engagements. I want to be able to be out there. It's one thing to be on social media, but when you're face to face with someone, they're like, hey, I have this question. Let me ask you right here while she's right there. And so I always do every month, even right now during COVID-19, every month I make it my mission to, if it's not in Jacksonville, it's going to be in another city or state, to do a first-time home buyers event. So that's when I'm with a local realtor and loan officer. I want to make sure have all three of us there, because you took your time out of your Saturday or your Sunday, whenever we're going to do it, to get this information for becoming the first time home buyer. So all three of us are there to answer the questions for you, which I find very beneficial and things like that. So any questions that you have, every month for the past year and a half, I've been doing that every weekend. Because of COVID-19, we weren't able to in April. So April 20th, I had a first-time homebuyers event online, which was really good. So I have a replay of people want information, but I was able to have a realtor on there as well as a loan officer to answer any questions that people had. They had really good questions. So it was really good to see online. You can be at the comfort of your own home asking these questions as well. So.
No, I love that. And if you're free, I think it's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. We're
Is that
doing
what
our
it is?
virtual, yeah.
I have it on there, yes.
Yep, we're doing our virtual event. Yeah, we'd love to
Yes.
have you. And I'll probably, after we're done, I'll probably tag my good friend. She usually does the networking with me, and she's a realtor. So maybe you guys can hook up and do some work
Perfect.
together too.
Yes, thank you. So that's my overall goal. So I launched my affiliate program because I know it's a lot of people are wanting to buy homes and things like that. So we made it known that because of what's going on with COVID-19, that the your credit scores are increasing the requirements for the lender. So usually was the 580, but now it's increased for a lot of loan officers and the mortgage companies to 640. So a lot of people who a few weeks ago who qualified for that mortgage, they were not able to qualify because of their score. So we're wanting to get it out there. 580 is okay, but if you get the 640, you're getting a better interest rate as well as you possibly have less money down. So it's a win-win, but for some, I know it was discouraging, but we want to be able to be a resource out there to let you know that it's possible to increase your score to get your dream home still. So.
No, yeah, I think that's great. It's such a great resource that you're offering people because even if they know that they want to start looking and maybe it's gonna take 6 months or a year to increase the credit, they're given that time and they can work with you to
Yeah.
figure out, how to get that done. And I think that's a great benefit. I don't think enough people know about that.
Yes, and that's what I definitely want to bring the awareness. So when you have I call it the credit improvement consultation because I'm pulling all three with our company, Identity IQ, the credit monitoring that I was speaking of earlier. We're pulling all three of your scores. I'm sending you. It all depends on everyone's credit score, but if you have a little bit of stuff on there, you'll probably have a 20-page document with credit education plus your personal information. And then if you have a lot, some people have 35 pages, 40 pages. It just all depends on what's on your credit, but we're going through these accounts because I want you to understand why your score is where it's currently at so we can start improving it right away. So.
Right. Well, that's great. Is there anything maybe that I haven't touched on that you want to share with anyone, and maybe an upcoming session that you want people to know about?
Yeah, so tomorrow, actually, I will be having my event. It's going to be a live webinar. It is free of charge as well. So it's the top 10 credit secrets that's going to help your score skyrocket. So I'm going to break those 10 ways down to start improving your credit score today. So I love to do, since everything's been going on, I love to do webinars because I'm able to reach people at the comfort of their own home and you can get the replay. But that's what I want people to know, that there are so many ways to improve your credit score, but I'm going to go over those. It's going to be at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's on, just register on Eventbrite, and it's going to send you the link in the morning to go ahead and join in on the live webinar with us.
Oh, awesome.
And so any questions that you may have, you can ask Q&A at the end or during the event. You can ask any credit questions that you may have. It's like, hey, how can this benefit me in the long run to start the process today?
No, that's awesome. And then when this is done, if you want to share that Eventbrite link in the comments, then people can go directly and just click on your link.
Okay, perfect. I will. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And then tomorrow, if you end up joining the networking, definitely share if you're having the next one. And I think this is great information to get out there. We usually we were doing live, like in-person networking once a month, and then we had our first event, and then COVID happened. But in the future, once we're able to start meeting again, hopefully soon, that you can even join us for that too. We would love to have you.
I would love to. Thank you. Yes, but I am registered for tomorrow. I just got the reminder. So yes.
All right, that sounds good. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and I always love learning myself and meeting new people. And my brain's always like, oh, what could we do in the future together? Like I'm always thinking ahead. But yeah, just reach out to me if you think of anything, or if you have anything else that you want to share, and like another program, we can always do another live. Just let me know anything we can do to help.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Melissa. You have a great day.
You too.
And
Thank
again, if
you.
anyone wants to find me, I am on Facebook and Instagram. It is Dispute Queen LLC for both Facebook and Instagram. And to schedule a consultation, if you want to say, hey, where do I need to get started? The first thing is a consultation to see where you're currently at. So it will be at www.disputequeen.com and just click the link, schedule a consultation now, and then you'll go ahead and schedule, and we'll be more than willing to assist along the way.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you too. Bye.